Growth stocks today helped power the Nasdaq to new all-time highs. What does that mean going forward? But before we get into that, there's the closing bell with the S&Ps finishing the day up about 13 points. We had some turbulence this morning at around 7 in the morning. That was due to the J&J vaccine being paused. At the same time, however, we saw the bonds get a nice boost higher. They faded, but ultimately they trended up into the day. The bonds up about 60 basis points on the day, breaking up, which the bonds breaking up sent our yields today down over 3%. So we look at the TNX, the 10-year yield is down 3% today. So if the bonds can break up, it's going to send these yields down further. And what is going to benefit from that? Well, the growth stocks. Just taking a look at the Nasdaq today, it led the bunch up over 1.15% right now in the futures. When we take a look at this thing on the expected move, we're coming into this week with 14.1 as our upper edge. We came just a shy of 14K in the futures. However, if we break 14.1 tomorrow with momentum, we could potentially be seeing a 1.5 sig, potentially a 2 sig. Now, ultimately, a lot of that is going to come down to the bonds. But when we take a look at the Nasdaq on a year to date, it's up 10.2%. When we compare that to the SPX, it's up about 12%. Now remember, coming into the SPX this week, we were expecting 58 points. 58 up takes us to 4186. So we're about 45 points shy from hitting that upper edge. And if we are to get there, it's going to be led by the Nasdaq. Just compare this to the Russell. The Russell's up 14.2% on the year, leading the pack. However, when we look how it traded today, it was down about 0.25%. That was largely due to the financials being down close to 1%. We see these financials our worst sector on the day. We see consumer staples down 0.5%, near all-time highs. Even the industrials down about 0.5%, nearing all-time highs. On the flip side, we see software stocks today, some big volume coming in the software stocks, up over 1.5%. Growth names are leading the way. The XLK technology sector putting in a new all-time high, up 0.94%. You even see the big five today up about 0.6. It gave a little bit of that back, but it's led by Apple, up 2.4% on the day. I love Apple going forward. Has a lot of room to run. You see Microsoft putting in a new all-time high and up 1%. Amazon up 0.6, still has some room to hit an all-time high, as well as Google that's hovering near all-time highs, up 0.5%. It was Facebook that kind of hurt the big five today, down 0.5%. However, look at Tesla up 8.6%. It's not in the big five, but it's breaking higher, lifting the Nasdaq as well as the S&Ps. We even saw healthcare stocks today up about 0.4%, nearing all-time highs. It was the XLE that was our only sector that was flat on the day. So for the most part, we're hitting all-time highs across the board. What does that mean for our volatility futures? Well, we take a look at them. They're down 1.4%. However, this is the April contract with just 9 days left. It's a short duration. It's not going to give us a great read. So we take a look at the VVIX, down about 1.6%. We look intraday. The VVIX just kind of broke down around lunchtime, getting to 100, and we just couldn't see a bounce. So for the most part, volatility is falling, which could give the green light to equities. And speaking of falling and green, when we take a look at our dollar index today, it was down about 0.33%. Bigger picture here, the dollar is weakening. So when the dollar strength is coming down due to the falling yields, it's sending our commodities higher. We take a look at crude oil up 1.15% today. These futures have been consolidating pretty tight, and the XLE was flat today. A break up could get the XLE joining the rally with other sectors. We see the gold today up 0.7%, sitting at 1745. Gold just isn't moving like you'd expect it to. Perhaps that's due to Bitcoin that's just stealing the spotlight today. Bitcoin up 5.3%, putting in a new all-time high. And just looking how this thing traded, erupted this morning at 4 and just kind of going sideways at this point. I want to show you some of my charts. We just take a look at the Coinbase chart. It's screaming to me at April 17th. That's this weekend. However, we have an IPO on the 14th. Coinbase IPOs tomorrow, which it's a direct listing, meaning insiders could sell their shares right out the gates. The funds could settle, and they could potentially roll that over into Bitcoin come the weekend. So breaking up here, potentially hovering this, going into the weekend, we could be seeing high upper 60s come this Sunday, but we'll have to take it day by day. It's taking a look at the Binance chart here. 64.3 is some resistance here, and then 68.8. But let's get over 64 first, and then we have my Bitstamp chart, which is near nothing on the 4 hour. So we throw it on a daily, and I just want to point out some dates that really stand out to me. So we have this date right here and this date right here. These are two crossovers. One is around May 5th, and the other one's around May 14th. So my guess is we're going to see some very big moves coming here in Bitcoin, potentially be at 80,000 up in this area come May. We'll have to take Bitcoin day by day, but any dip you see and you want in, it should be bought, and you should dollar cost average your way in, diversifying your portfolio. There you have it for the stock market breakdown. So today we saw growth stocks just lead to the upside. That was largely due to falling yields, and if the yields continue to fall, you better buckle up, because technology is going to go higher, and it's heavy enough to drag the S&Ps up with it. Just remember, 14.1 in the Nasdaq this week should give it some stress, but if we break that, it's largely going to be from the bonds getting a nice rally underneath them, sending yields down a bit more. But with the VIX relatively low, we could be in the midst of a bigger move in the making. I mean, just take a look at what Bitcoin is doing. If you have any questions or comments, I would love to hear from you. Leave it down below and I'll get back to you. If you've enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up. It means a lot when you guys show some support. And if you're watching me for the first time, I do these nearly daily. Show some love and hit that subscribe button. But on that note, have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Peace!